Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Roberts. We may now call upon the stage author of Being Human in a War Zone and Can Poetry Halt War, Meher Pestonji, for her talk show. With a huge round of applause, please welcome Meher Pestonji. To felicitate Ms. Pestonji, I call upon Mr. Aryan Majumdar.
And taking time off to be here. Especially thanks Yukioto for organizing the event and getting everyone together. I also think it's not very many publishers who project their authors into films and stuff like that, so it's really good that. So for the last more than a couple of years, my focus has been on what is happening around the world, which is the wars that are going on, which are holding the whole world at ransom one way or the other. So I have brought out two books. One is a collection of short stories called Being Human in a War Zone, and a collection of poems, which is Can Poetry Halt War? I think war as a theme is something that is part of us today, whether we like it or not. It's whether it's a physical war in a military way, whether it is trade wars, whether there are culture conflicts. And I have tried to tackle these in my stories. Now, we see enough horror images on screens. We hear enough about, people, politicians who are doing this and someone doing that. So we're not, my stories are not dealing with those because we see enough of that daily, and there is also a certain fatigue and a certain blocking off that comes because we need to stay sane while we see all these horror things. What I look at is something behind what happens in front. The stories of ordinary people when their country is at war. How do they live their daily lives? And how does it go on? So I'm going to read. So my stories in this book, my story looks at just one day in the life of ordinary citizen when their country is at war. So there are 14 stories. Each of them is set in a different country, in a different location, in a different war zone. So the first one I'm going to read, which has been made into a film script, and I hope something will come out of it. It's called The Rebel, and it's set in Afghanistan. So it shows, I'm just going to read two extracts from it, but that'll give you a flavor of the book. Bright red lipstick was Daria's defiance against being forced to cover up under the hated hijab. She would leave home in a black garment to keep peace with her father, but once she was away from the neighborhood, the hijab would come off, exposing her stylish clothes. Today, though she was moving away from their village, she would take no such risk. Unlike her father, she was educated with a master's degree in Islamic art. Her father's elder brother, who worked for an American company during the occupation, had insisted that he should let her study. She spent 4 years in Kabul at his home until she graduated. But once the Americans abandoned Afghanistan, her father ordered her to return to the village. Now, after this, there is this educated woman, and there is her father, a traditionalist. And what happens when her mother gets breast cancer. And in the village, there is no MRI facility, there are no fancy hospitals, there are restrictions on women traveling to cities, and there are many complications that this family faces. But the girl is very determined that her mother must get proper treatment for cancer. And her father he's religious and he's a traditionalist. So I'm reading another extract. Precious days passed as Ashkan, that's the father, made frantic inquiries for a female oncologist. They can find there are very few women doctors in Afghanistan, and very difficult in a village setting to find a cancer specialist. And he is very determined. In their village, all the women go to a woman doctor. So precious days passed as Ashkan made frantic inquiries searching for a female oncologist. His supplications to the Almighty became louder, more intense, but he would not see reason. Puffing on his hookah, he kept muttering prayers as Daria tried to convince him to be practical. Hundreds of people die of cancer. Mama has to get proper treatment and fast, she pleaded. The day of one's death is written in holy books. No one can challenge death. The science of medicine is to extend life, reduce suffering. People die even after going to doctors. So, you want mother to suffer and die? Sultana is my wife. No man can touch her breast. I will decide who treats her. She's my mother. I want to save her life. Give up your old beliefs, father. The world is changing. Becoming worse day by day. Daughters don't even respect their fathers. I should never have sent you to college. If girls don't go to college, how will there be women doctors? So the story is dealing with that kind of dilemma. All my stories they're short stories. I think they will make great short films. So now I'm giving you just a brief taste of several stories to tell you what the book is about. In a story called Heritage, which is set in Ukraine, the protagonist is Dimitrios. He's a musician, a violinist, playing in a philharmonic orchestra. But when the war breaks out, he sends his wife and child away to safety, and as a loyal citizen, he enlists to volunteer. He is sent to evacuate a hospital, and the sight of the images of blood and broken people, broken homes, broken beds, people lying on broken beds, all that he cannot take. He's a sensitive artist. He's not trained for this. It's not something that he can. And he recoils. Now, how does a musician who wants to serve his country cope in a war situation? That is another story. Have I extended time? One more? Okay, one more story, I'll just take it. The next story is, this is a Tibetan story. It's called Living in Exile, which is set in a Himalayan farm where a very loyal senior grandfather is living with his granddaughter because his daughter and son-in-law have emigrated to Australia. He keeps his granddaughter, they keep the granddaughter here to retain her Tibetan roots while she will join her parents after she finishes school. So you have 3 generations the grandfather with deep loyalty to Buddhist values and all that, the younger one rebelling against the daughter, the granddaughter rebelling against that, and the middle generation who has actually moved away and is trying to make a life of their own. So there's another very interesting story of two tennis players who are called rivals, and one is Russian, one is Ukrainian, and they meet in the finals. And how do they deal with it? So we are looking at war not directly from the day-to-day, violence that happens, but what happens around war. Thank you.